about this food in Korea, or what about this particular gourmet around the world? Join us in our journey as we uncover where these interesting menus come from with our one and only Chef Matt in the studio for 맛 대 맛. 안녕하세요.
안녕하세요.
How are you doing?
Doing well, doing well. It's not as cold as it was a few days ago.
Yeah.
Yeah. The past 2 days have been almost pleasant.
It has been. 비교적 굉장히 좋은 날씨였던 것
맞아요.
같아요.
저 오늘 너무 따뜻하게
Yeah, it was
입었어요.
nice. And because there was good sunshine, 햇빛도 있고 약간 포근한 느낌도 있었어요.
Right.
그럼에도 불구하고 저는 감기 걸렸는데요.
맞아요.
It's sad to get sick on days like these.
Yeah.
But I've been asking our guests as they come in this week if they've done anything special for Christmas yet, because 한국에서는 지금부터 뭐 블랙 프라이데이 세일도 있고 뭐 actually not 지금부터 11월가 되면은 이제 크리스마스 노래도 들고
맞아요.
세일도 하고 막 그러는데 장식 같은 것도 하시나요?
Oh yeah, we go all the way. We go all out with Christmas. In our household, we just put our tree up yesterday.
그러니까 봤어요 인스타에 너무 알콩달콩. So do you do it every year around November?
Sometimes we do it before Halloween.
진짜요?
맞아요. Yeah.
That's
Because
fun.
it's just a nice thing to have around the house.
Yeah, I agree.
되게 cozy, 아늑한 느낌도 나고.
맞아요.
그리고 a lot of the ornaments that we've had since I was a kid.
Oh, wow.
그래서 그 트리를 꾸미는 것도, the whole process, it's fun to open up and to kind of look at all the ornaments, the ornaments that we add every year. 약간 그런
선물 같은 느낌도 들지 않나요?
Sure. And a lot of the ornaments, they get broken or chipped every year, so it's time for some minor surgery with the glue gun.
Yeah, that's a lot of fun. Well, hopefully our listeners are enjoying the Christmas season quite early on, I would say. But in any case, whether it's decorating the house, the ornaments, or even if it's just a small tree that you have, it's all about the chuok, the memories that you make.
What about you? What are you doing for Christmas this year?
So we always have, we've lived in a very small house for a long time. And so we've just done like a bouquet, like a eucalyptus bouquet and made that the tree. And then we've got a few ornaments just to hang them on our drawers. And so that itself makes it quite festive. But I don't know if we'll have any time to do it this year. 너무 바쁘게 지나다 보니까 그런 것도 못 챙기더라고요.
맞아요.
너무 아쉽더라고요.
You know, Mariah Carey, Charlie Brown's Christmas tree?
Yes.
The very kind of iconic, very scraggly tree. So one thing that Mariah Carey does every year, apparently, Mariah Carey being Mariah Carey, she has this enormous, 5-6 meter tall tree, in her foyer and whatnot. Professionally decorated, probably takes 20 people to make. But every year, she always has a small, scraggly Charlie Brown style tree in another room, and she always decorates it with photos of her family.
Oh,
Apparently.
yeah. That's always a fun way. Like 폴로로이드 사진 같은 것도 꾸밀 수도 있고. 아이디어가 너무 많으니까
맞아요.
you could always, switch it up every year. But in any case, speaking of Jesus' birthday, 오늘의 주제는 뭘까요?
Today, we're talking about a different sort of celebration. We can celebrate Jesus' birthday, but, that's, I guess, something that we all have in common. If you're born, you've got a birthday.
That's right. 오늘은 birthday 음식에 대해서 이야기 나누려고 하는데 참 이것도 나라별로 그런 문화가 다 있더라고요.
맞아요. Whether it be in terms of country, even different families and households will have different traditions. So we want to ask you, what is your favorite birthday food?
여러분들은 가장 좋아하는 생일 음식, 생일 메뉴 아이템은 과연 무엇일까요? 샵 1013으로 문자 보내주시길 바랍니다.
What's your favorite birthday food?
Ooh, this one's tough. I think nowadays, not when we were younger, surprisingly. 근데 요즘에는 우리 엄마가 미역국을 끓이긴 하는데 it's not like my favorite.
Yeah, you have to have it.
Yeah, it's a good meal.
It's a great meal, but it's a hard thing to say it's your favorite.
생각 한번 해볼게요. I mean, I think because these birthday foods often collide with like date night foods. You know, kind of, I like a little bit of fancy. It's like 극과 극. Like I could go fancy, but I could also go wings. You know, I love wings. So I don't know. It also depends on which country I live in.
Right.
그래서 한국에서 살면 wings가 비싸잖아요, 사실. 그래서 그게 조금 더 특별하게 생각할 수도 있는데
맞아요.
만약에 미국으로 이사 가면은 미역국이 굉장히 땡길 거예요. 그러면 그때는 진짜 미역국을 먹고 싶다라는 생각도 들 수 있는데 in any case 여러분의 가장 좋아하는 생일 음식 무엇인지 문자로 많이 보내주시길 바랍니다.
All right. So we're going to start off with, I think, what might be the one and only universal birthday food, and that's the birthday cake.
Ooh, I mean, what's your favorite birthday cake?
I think my favorite type of birthday cake is something chocolate-based.
Oh, chocolate.
Chocolate-based. I know that's not going to be your favorite.
Yeah.
But, and I think it's just, I don't like a rich chocolate. 요새, there's this one particular chocolate cake that I've been really obsessed with. We got this birthday cake. My wife and I, our birthday's only a few weeks apart. So we got this birthday cake a few weeks ago. And it's just like a really light chocolate sponge, like a chiffon cake, with like a really nice just 생크림 on top.
Oh,
and
I
it's
love it.
so perfect. But the key is in 중간에, there's this really rich layer of white frosting with chocolate cookies in it. So it's like this perfect light cake with this really rich little stripe of cookies and cream flavor.
Okay.
I want to have this cake every week.
Where this probably isn't like a franchise.
It's not, but it's available. So it's a hotel named after a dynasty of Korean history.
Okay.
And it's available online.
Oh.
Like a lot of the online, food, grocery channels.
Oh.
They sell like a frozen version of it, which holds up really, really well. So you can just order one and have it whenever you want.
I'll have to look that up. I'm not a big fan of like rich cake, but then cheesecake is something that I love.
Yes.
And then I think I've mentioned this before, but rather than getting a big cake, I like trying this and that and this and that. But a couple years ago, my husband got me the cheese tarts at the mall, the department stores, and they're quite expensive because one is like $3. But you get like the pack, and it's like 2만 원 정도 되는데 그걸 너무 맛있게 먹는 거예요. 그래서 옛날에 막 초코파이 같은 생일 케이크 하는 것처럼 그렇게 작은 타트 같은 걸로.
There is really something to be said about the individual ones, particularly if you can get different flavors. But let me ask you this. What are your thoughts on cupcakes?
Cupcakes are okay. Cupcakes are fun.
Good. So you're okay with the frosting to cake pure? Because I know that's really 호불호.
Oh, right. I cut it in half.
There you go. Yes. Yes, that's the way to do it.
이 너무 특히 미국 아이싱은 한국 아이싱이랑 완전 다르거든요. It's very candy-like. It's not as smooth. It's 약간 chalky and very sweet.
Gritty.
Yeah, gritty. Good word. 그래서 한국에 와서 그런 생크림 케이크 먹으면 너무 맛있는 거예요.
맞아요.
It tastes good. It makes you feel good. Not too heavy as well. But 진짜 미국 가게 되면은 후식을 못 시켜요.
맞아요.
It's incredibly sweet, so dense. But to each his own. Birthday cakes is what we're talking about now. Where does this come from?
Okay, so the birthday cake, it's hard to say exactly when it was created because it's been evolving over time. The ancient Egyptians had something like a cookie sort of.
The ancient Egyptians?
Yes, they were not putting sprinkles and
wow.
They were not writing in chocolate, like happy birthday on it. There was no frosting back then.
First the toilet, now the birthday cake.
But yeah, so they had like a little cookie type of thing. They were mild. They had like flour and butter and sugar and vanilla and little cinnamon, and they're still eaten to this day. But these were more to celebrate the birth of gods and pharaohs. These were not things that you had in the households. Then you go to ancient Greece and ancient Rome. The Romans would serve cakes at birthdays and weddings, but in ancient Greece, which predates ancient Rome, They did have a type of birthday cake. It wasn't made with like 밀가루. It's more made with like nuts. But it was still, they were still yeasted. So they were at least a little bit light, but they were pretty dense compared to what we're used to today. I imagine they were probably almost a little bit more like yakgwa back in the day because they were heavier. They were flavored with honey. And they would be pretty much only given to men on their 50th birthday.
Oh, not women.
Not women. So it wasn't like an every birthday you got a cake. This was more of a specific birthday.
Right.
And then they also had these cakes that they would use to worship the god Artemis, who was the goddess of the moon. And this will come in later when we're talking about candles, because people would light candles to pray to Artemis. And they would say, basically, if you blew out this candle, the smoke would take your prayers to the moon.
Yeah, I mean, it's interesting that all of these come from such old history, the practices that we do today, without even thinking about it.
Right.
And even like over the years, how it's become, not only one particular birthday. Yesterday we talked about the Dol, which is, quite important to Korea. Even nowadays, I feel like if there wasn't modern medicine, it'd be hard for these 1-year-olds to survive.
Sure, absolutely. And I think, too, I think having a birthday, particularly like that first birthday, it's a good excuse or a good kind of standardized practice to get everyone there to at least see the baby once.
Yeah.
People who you might not have seen in years, like, okay, at least come and see the baby. We don't have to hang out again, but just come and see the baby.
Right. A celebratory event, whether you're 1 year old or 50 years old, as you said, it's just an excuse. Okay, well, seeing how the birthday cake evolved away from ancient Rome then.
Yeah, so they had desserts, they had cakes, but it wasn't anything like what we're seeing today. Go into the 1400s, and this is the first time when you start seeing birthday cakes marketed towards children.
Oh.
And it was the Germans who figured this out.
There you go. Changing history.
Yeah, and it was purely a marketing thing. Like they realized like, oh, we can sell the commoners this really expensive thing just once a year. Again, in the same way that you're talking about, to kind of celebrate the remarkable fact that this child has survived. And it's kind of similar how, like, the teenager didn't exist prior to 1940. Like, that was the year that the term was coined and where teenage culture really started happening.
Really?
Because, like, before then, and of course, like, this is painting in broad strokes, you went from being a child
to an adult
to being married and having a job and raising kids of your own.
Yeah. The middle ground was never there.
No, it was not. And now it feels like everyone's a teenager.
That's true, no matter how old you are.
And so these were small, dense, single-layer cakes. They didn't use that much sugar. Very humble by modern standards, but very much a luxury back then. And again, it's because like now, these things were starting to become a little bit more common. And, they were priced to the point where an average family could buy these like once a year for like, their special children that survived. And, it would only go into, through childhood.
I guess we do have to thank the Germans for a few of the sweets that we have. Don't really associate Germany to being like a very sweet jelly-like, producer, but they've got the gummy bears.
That's right.
They've got the chocolates, and I guess they made the cakes. All right, let's take a listen to a quick song break. We're talking about birthday cakes and, of course, birthday food in general. 그래서 여러분이 가장 좋아하는 생일 음식, 생일 메뉴는 과연 무엇일까요? What is your favorite birthday food or favorite flavor of a birthday cake?
Oh, that's a good one.
Yeah, let us know. Here's Itchy with cake. Itzy with cake. What are your favorite flavors of birthday cakes? And I say plural because I think it's hard to just choose one.
It is so hard to choose just one. The types of cakes out there, they can range from like light as a feather chiffon angel food cake to, dense, rich cheesecakes to things like crepe cake as well.
And I think it just depends on the phase of life that you're in. 뭐 어렸을 때는 뭐 아이스크림 케이크도 너무너무 신나는 일이었잖아요.
Right, because it's ice cream and
a
cake.
cake?
It's amazing. PD님, what's your favorite cake?
Yeah, let us know. PD님의 favorite birthday cake flavor가 뭔지 궁금한데요. All right, well, let's get to it. Talking about kind of the history of the birthday cake. Didn't know that it came from ancient Egypt to Rome to Germany.
That's right. So we left off in the 1400s in Germany, and so this is the part. This is when like they started to sell birthday cakes. And quick before we go on, PD님 says 초코지요, absolutely.
Choco.
다 대문자, absolutely.
And he says to emphasize the
Choco.
Yeah, choco. 좋습니다. All right, birthday cakes in Germany in the 1400s, as you said, it wasn't for, or that was the time where they said, okay, let's try to push this into an annual event.
Yes, and so they were children. They were very precious, and the whole so they came up with the word for birthday parties during this time. And
Did
they're
they?
called Kinderfest.
Kinderfest.
Which, yeah, child festival.
Makes sense.
And the birthday cakes were called Geburtstagstorten.
Sounds so fun.
It does. It's like, did you bring a Geburtstagstorten to your Kinderfest? And so, yeah, these were designed for the wealthy, and it wasn't until the Industrial Revolution when they were widespread. By the 1700s, they had candles and the multiple layers and icings and decorations, and that was basically when the modern birthday cake was born.
Yeah, well, that's a lot of fun. It only took 300 years.
Yeah, but we got there.
Well, we got there. But you talked about candles before as well.
Yeah, so in ancient Greece, they used candles, and they would put them on cakes for the goddess Artemis. You'd blow them out, and the lit candles represented the moonshine. And so these candles of Artemis were considered the first quote-unquote birthday candles, but not in the way that they're not your birthday candles. They are like Artemis's candles.
I see. It's not yours.
Yeah, but in a way, so like, you blew the candles out and your prayers would be carried by the smoke to the moon. So in a way, this is also kind of the origins of making a wish when you blow out the candles.
Yes, absolutely. It's a small prayer that you have, whether it's to survive the winter or to just get, so-and-so for your Valentine's crush or whatever.
Right. But when we go back to Germany in was in the 1700s again, when these candles started to become more common, they had candles too, but they were a little bit different. So you'd wake up kind of like Christmas morning. You'd wake up and be presented with this cake. And they would put candles in it, but you wouldn't blow them out just yet. They would leave candles burning all day long.
Oh, I like that.
Yeah, it's really kind of nice and cozy.
Yeah.
I mean, maybe not so much in the summertime.
Yeah,
but in the
that's
winter,
true.
it'd be great.
I have a summer birthday.
Yeah, like Aquarius birthdays. Be really nice and cozy for those. And so they'd switch out the candles all day long because they believed that keeping these candles going would ward away evil spirits. And because you were particularly vulnerable to evil spirits on your birthday. And then you'd only blow them out when it was time to eat. And what is it? You would put the number of candles of the age of the child +1 for the hopes that the child would survive another year.
I like that too.
Yeah, again, Germans very, very grim, but also very pragmatic.
Yeah, that's interesting. I mean, talking about candles as well, I didn't even think of when did we start putting our age, on the candles? I mean, then who started the birthday song? Who decided it was fun to dedicate a song and serenade it to the birthday girl?
Oh, the birthday song is actually pretty complicated.
Yeah. Seems like it. You got a whole page.
The whole page on just the birthday song.
Real quick.
So the birthday song is actually copyrighted, or they thought it was. So the birthday song was written as a song called Good Morning to You in 1893.
Wow.
But, so it went Good Morning to You, Good Morning to You. So the birthday version of that came out in 1912 as a remix, basically. It was rewritten. So we wouldn't have RM on Old Town Road if we didn't have Happy Birthday.
Yeah, I remember there was quite a bit of news talking about, is it okay to even sing Happy Birthday or play it on the radio and all that kind of stuff?
You couldn't, not until like 2015. Long story short, this one company was receiving so many royalties off of the song. Anytime they played it in movies, TV shows, anywhere, they would have to charge royalties. So basically, for example, in February 2010, the royalty for single use was $700. They were collecting $2 million a year on average. And that's just what they were reporting.
Yeah.
But finally, it was one documentarian who wanted to go into the history of the song. And they were like, oh, they actually don't own the copyright to this. They looked at the original sheet music and they found that what they owned the copyright to wasn't the actual song. So by 2015, long story short, this company lost the copyright, so we can sing to our heart's desire, happy birthday to you, and they can't do anything about it.
How much would you hate this documentarian, though, if you were these people? Yeah.
They had this cash cow that they were just milking, and so this company ended up paying like $15 million.
Oh, they did?
To pay back. Yeah, to return these royalties that they collected.
Oh, my gosh. Well, in any case, let's take a listen to a song talking about candles. Here's NCT Dream, 사랑한다는 뜻이야. Candlelight. We are here on Mat with Chef Matt into the studio talking about birthday foods, birthday cakes. Let us know your favorites. Once again, welcome to the studio, Chef Matt. Good to have you in.
Always a pleasure.
Always a pleasure to enjoy the cold birthday months as well. I think having your birthday in different seasons kind of changes who you are, too.
I 100% believe this. Yeah, it has nothing to do with like your star sign or anything like that. It has to do with like the season, the climate, and the weather, what that's like around your birthday. And that is such a big effect on your personality.
It does. I always had my birthday right in the beginning of school. Back to school time was my birthday. So obviously nobody cared. Yep. Nobody, even like knew you and all that kind of stuff. And it was always just what would you call it, covered by just getting back to school and finding your classes and all that kind of stuff. Never had the urge to celebrate my birthday because of that either.
Absolutely. And same. I'm the same way. And I feel like if you were the type of kid who had your birthday that fell during summer or winter vacation all the time, I feel like you grew up with that, like either like a chip on your shoulder or like you grew up accepting loneliness in your life.
Yes, seriously. That's why we get the birthday blues. 진짜. And I think guys have this more than girls too. I don't know why, but even for my husband, when we started dating, he'd be like, I don't care about my birthday. Little did I know, it was a traumatic incident in his life where his whole family left him and it was on his birthday. And only his dad was home and he said, you want to watch a movie or something? He's like, no, I'm okay. And it's been with him for 30 years.
Yeah, you know what? I think just again, painting in broad strokes. I think if you grow up, as a girl with more female friends, I think in general, women tend to be more considerate and a little bit more conscientious of others and are
maybe we receive. So we'll say to our 남자친구, like, I want this, or let's celebrate this.
Yeah. Whereas men, just they're not allowed to by society to express I want this cake. I want to do this for my birthday because it's perceived as unmanly.
Yeah, that's right. Well, let us know. We are getting a few messages. 1241님, 나이 드니까 케이크 큰 건 헤비하더라고요. 요즘은 무슨 맛이든 작은 게 좋아요. That's a good point.
That is a very mature thing to say.
Yeah, because do you ever eat the entire cake?
Yes, over the course of a week.
You do?
Over the course of a week.
Okay. Yeah.
But never I never have more than a thin slice in a sitting.
Yeah. 4598님, 요즘 당근 케이크 맛보고 거기 푹 빠집니다. 당근. Carrot cake is good.
Yeah, there's nothing else like it too.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's very unique.
It is. It's also, I would say it's acquired. When I was younger, I didn't like it.
Because there's two things about it that I think are acquired. It's the spices and the nuts.
Now it's the denser the better.
Yeah.
Put more nuts in it.
And cream cheese on
yes,
top. Yeah, cream cheese frosting.
당근 케이크 좋죠. 1048님, 케이크도 유행이 있는지 예전엔 고구마 케이크 그렇게 먹다가 언제부터인가 입에 물리기 시작했네요. 치즈케이크 한참 먹다가 요즘은 크레이프가 땡겨요.
crepe cake. And all these things are cyclical,
They
right?
really are.
Yeah, I remember crepe cake. There was one very famous cafe in Korea in the 90s that kind of like brought it to Korea. That was the big trend. That was like almost a status symbol because it was very expensive for
Yes,
the time.
맞아요,
I want to say it
맞아요.
was like 5만 원 at that time.
비싸.
Just like what, like 300만 원 now or something like
I
that.
know, inflation.
Yeah, but like, and like for a little while too, like that 옛날식 like 과일 cake.
I love fruit. I remember when I was in LA and then this new Korean bakery came and it
Yeah.
was the Korean cake. I was like, I want all of it. 상큼, 달콤. Like as we talk about the 생크림에 딸기 하나 너무
Yeah.
맛있어.
And it's like one of the only places where you'll have like a grape and whipped cream at
I
the
know.
same time, and it works
And
somehow.
귤, you know?
And it somehow all works.
It does. Well, let us know once again your favorite birthday foods and your favorite birthday cakes. 샵 1013으로 문자 보내주시길 바랍니다. Well, let's get to it. So moving on to the second part of the show, continuing with birthdays.
That's right. So we talked about the birthday cake, it being the most universal thing around the world, like kind of like the birthday icon that has gone all around. It seems American, but it's not. It's German and Greek and Egyptian and Roman. So now we'll talk about birthday foods from around the world in different cultures.
Okay.
And Korea has, of course, miyeokguk.
Are you a 고기 미역국 or 해산물 미역국?
Oh, kogi all the way.
Yeah, who does 해산물? 너무
I mean, it's
가벼워요.
fine, but I mean, like, especially if it's your birthday,
고기.
like unless the 해산물 is lobster. I mean,
Who has a lobster mi역국?
no one. But that's the only thing.
Let's try.
But yeah, right. I feel like that's the only thing that would be as special as hogogi.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's got to be kogi for me on a personal level.
피디님께서 부산에서는 가자미를 넣어서 먹더라고. What's 가자미?
Kajami is like it's a type of fish.
Okay. Oh,
Yeah,
wow.
yeah. And that'd be good. Yeah, like a fleshy, like like a nice tender. Was it?
Wow, I can't even pronounce this. Pleuronectidae.
I think it's soul.
Okay.
Is the common
take your
translation. Yeah.
Yeah, okay. 미역국, always good to eat, regardless if it's your birthday or not.
Yeah, and that's the thing, right? I think I prefer it not on my birthday because, like, on my birthday, I want something a little bit more special.
Yeah, that's true.
But on any other day, it's just a great soup.
Is there like a hidden meaning behind this? Like,
I think there's
not
like
supposed to
many
eat-
many stories
Yeah,
about
okay.
it. But I think the kind of one that most people agree on is that miyeokguk, pregnant women will often eat miyeokguk
Right.
like when they are pregnant because it is very nutritious. And I think it's just something that you give on your birthday because it is associated with the idea of birthing.
right?
And it is, again, very nutritious.
Remember when your mom had it when she was birthing you? So now you get to have it every year. Dramatic for the mom. But okay, let's take a look here. Seaweed is just an interesting thing around the world.
Yeah, it's very Korean, but maybe not anymore.
Okay.
Korea harvests the most seaweed in the world, but other countries are quickly starting to catch up because they are realizing how great it is, both as a food, but also as a plastic substitute.
Wow.
It's also being used in livestock feed because apparently if you feed cows miyok, it cuts down on the amount of methane that they release.
Seriously, I mean, I know that cows' farts are such a huge concern, but imagine if we farted so much. It probably means that we're not eating the best food to be producing
exactly.
that much
I mean,
gas.
if you're basically just eating processed corn product all day long, that's gonna happen.
Yeah.
But yeah, so this could be one of the keys to lowering carbon emissions because also the seaweed itself could also, offset carbon emissions by, in terms of just the amount of oxygen they release. Actually, the majority of the world's oxygen is not created by trees, but rather by sea plants.
Oh.
Yeah, there's just so much more sea plant life than there is land plant
그러네요.
life out there.
Never thought about that. But it's underwater and it still
It
produces.
still produces, and
because
so that's
water is H2O.
yeah, and fish have to breathe oxygen as well.
That's
They
true.
just breathe it through their gills. And so now, now just beyond Korea, new farms are cropped up in Maine in the United States, in the Faroe Islands, Australia, even the North Sea. And globally, seaweed production has grown by nearly 75% in the past decade. In America right now, the seaweed industry is $10 billion a year, which is absolutely huge. It's expected to go up. And what's interesting is that this increase in American consumption in seaweed, it's not due to, finding like plastic substitutes through processing seaweed. It's not by incorporating seaweed into American food. No one's making seaweed casserole.
Right.
It's because Asian foods are becoming more popular.
Yes. Yes, one of my friends works at a marketing agency, and one of their big clients is this huge Korean company that also has entertainment, but also foods.
Oh, I got that. Yeah, is it the two-letter
Two
one?
letters.
Yeah.
And so they're going into the U.S. and they're pushing their bibimbap type of, brand. And they're saying that there is double-digit growth just because people are way more interested in mandu, in kimchi, in these things that for us is very basics. And, it's nothing special about, these frozen foods, but they're gathering so much love. They're gaining so much love.
People in America, they're packing frozen kimbap to lunch. And that's the cool thing to do now.
I am offended.
Right?
This is cultural appropriation.
It's okay. We walked so the future generations could run.
You are not allowed to have that.
It's okay. This is the point of growth. This is how we grow as a society. Yes, we had the trauma of being made fun of for having stinky lunches, but that's okay because now the kids can grow up and enjoy it, and the world is a better place.
You know what I feel so bad for? I remember throwing away my kimbap once that my mom packed for me because I was just too embarrassed. You know what I mean? And I know I'm not the only one. But with these types of traumas in our heads, and now you're going to say it's the in thing, I will accept it, but begrudgingly.
It's kind of sweet, though, just thinking about, I'm imagining this dialogue between three young girls, elementary school, Becky, Jessica, and Becky was like, oh, I love your sushi roll. It's got the nori on it. And Jessica's be like, actually, it's called kim, and it's got kimbap. That's the Japanese word for it. And, while they might be similar.
It's not. Okay.
It's not.
Get your facts straight. PD님도 요즘 냉동 김밥 판매가 어마어마하게 늘었다고 해요. 냉동 김밥? I've actually never heard of that.
I've heard of it because, I've heard of this phenomenon of kids packing it, but I've never tried it. Is it good? Can it be good?
So do you just defrost it throughout the day?
I'm guessing you microwave it, kind of like a 편의점
kimbap. I see. Yeah. Makes
and hopefully
sense.
they're doing the thing like they do in Korean 편의점 where the kim isn't a separate thing.
맞아요.
Yeah. You got to do that, right?
Because then it would just be soggy.
Yeah. And you know what? 냉동 rice and microwavable rice does exist, so I guess it could work.
I guess it could. PD님 is being a proud patriot, says, 김밥 원조국 국민으로서 김밥을 냉동했다가 먹는다니, unacceptable. Just eat it fresh.
Yeah, it's true. Fresh. But you know what? I think if you don't have access to it, if the infrastructure is not there, then that's what's going to happen.
And it has to be packaged in a way that is kind of new for, the foreign crowd to be like, ooh, okay, different. This is fun.
And you know what? And I think that this might mean that maybe the next generation we will see as many kimbap heavens as we see other fast food chains in America.
Yeah. Very true. We've got the subways, and who knows, the kimbap heavens will be right next door.
So, I always make this comparison, right? People always talk about why is this good sandwich so expensive in Korea? It's because, people just aren't buying them as much, so the ingredients are more expensive and they're just less common. And, it would be like in the US, you can't charge what you charge for kimbap here in Korea because it just doesn't make sense.
Yeah. And I think that's the reason why some people get excited to do business, Korean restaurants. But then that just, proves that there's a lot of work with just importing certain ingredients.
100%.
Yeah. But hopefully more and more people get those ideas so we can go to places all around the world and still enjoy gochujang and bibimbap and kimbap. All right. Well, in any case, seaweed soup 미역국은 한국의 대표적인 birthday food이긴 하죠. So seaweed, again, changing different industries, whether it comes to plastic substitutes. But you're saying here even different places around the world are using them for different reasons.
Yeah, so we've talked about how they can be used as potentially plastic substitutes because they are high in fiber, and there are so many different types of seaweed out there. And for a long time too, we've been using seaweed byproducts in in different foods in terms of in industrial foods. And one of these things, if you look at the back of say a pint of ice cream, you'll see this ingredient, carrageenan.
Okay.
Turns out the Irish have been making pudding out of seaweed for a very long time.
Oh.
So carrageen it's a very common industrial food additive. You'll see it also used in fine dining and a lot of the molecular gastronomy restaurants.
Okay.
But traditionally it's been used in Ireland to make pudding because it is a natural thickener. It comes from this thing called Irish moss, and it grows all over the Irish coast. It also grows all around the rest of the world, but it's very common in Ireland. And so you can use it to make a pudding, and if you use the whole seaweed to make it, it does kind of taste like the sea. And it's very bland.
Pudding.
So it's very much like it's very much eaten like poyak.
Have you had it before?
I've never had it,
Wow.
because I guess you could because you could dry it but I have zero. It's a health food.
Yeah.
They basically they give it to you because it's kind of slimy and viscous, so they give it to you if you have a sore throat.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I might need that one right now. But
Yeah.
let's go away from seaweed now. Different birthday foods around the world. Russia has a personal pie.
Personal pie. So
I like it.
This is a really cute culture. So not only is it a pie, but they'll use the dough and they'll cut out messages for you. And so that's when I say personal pie. They personalize it, kind of like how you decorate someone's notebook or something like that. So they would decorate it to the things that you like oh, she likes frogs, so we'll cut out a little frog and put it on there.
Wow, that's real sweet.
Do you like pie or cake better?
I'm more of a cake person just because pies are much denser.
They are much denser.
And I don't like a lot of filling in a lot of things.
Yeah, that is the downside of pie.
Yeah.
I think pie edges it out for me, though, because pie pastry is so good.
Okay.
The buttery, flaky pastry. The crust is what gets me. In China, they eat noodles, and which is, again, something that you see in Korea. Was it, in someone's tabi?
돌잔치,
돌잔치.
칠순잔치.
Yeah, the chabi? Chapki?
잡기? Okay.
Yeah.
Do they have noodles there for a
they
long
have
life?
myeon. They have myeon for
They
long
do?
lives. So they'll have
돌잡이.
was it money, noodles,
A microphone, a pen.
pencil. Yeah. Nowadays, I think they put a camera there, so they become like a YouTuber. I'm
Oh,
not kidding.
진짜?
I'm not kidding. No. They'll put an action camera there.
That's pretty good.
Yeah, and then they have fairy bread in Australia. So it's white bread, and then they put butter on it, and then rainbow sprinkles.
So toast with sprinkles?
Toast with sprinkles, but it's eaten as a dessert.
Like a Pop-Tart.
Basically, yeah, it's kind of like a Pop-Tart or a very kind of slapdash DIY cake.
Okay.
And so this basically proves that white bread is basically cake.
Right.
There's a ton of sugar goes into white bread.
Right.
Which then, you've seen fruit sandwiches here in Korea, like panijam. That all of a sudden, doesn't it make sense now?
Yes, it does.
Those make sense.
Yeah, because if you call it a fruit sandwich, it doesn't make sense. But it's basically
cake.
cake, which is fun to have for breakfast, no? Which we used to do pancake.
Pancake, instead of frosting, it's syrup.
Yeah.
Syrup is more calorically dense than
liquefied sugar.
Yeah, it is basically just sugar that you pour without abandon. It's pour as much as you want. And then just whole butter as well.
Sweden, there's a princess cake.
Yeah, so it's, do you like marzipan?
What is marzipan?
So they use it a lot in Christmas time. It's basically they take almond flour and sugar and egg whites and they use it to mold like little like characters, and it's almost like clay or Play-Doh.
Okay.
It's very dense. It's very sugary, very almondy.
Oh, yeah, not bad. I like them.
Yeah, it's like fondant, but
Yes.
it's like made out of almond.
Yes.
And so they'll use this and they'll roll it out thin to cover out this cake, and it looks like something out of a cartoon. It's very
does.
cute. It's like
Yeah, it does.
it's like a green. It's usually green and pink and whatnot. So it's a traditional layer cake, and it's got sponge, it's got marzipan, lots of whipped cream, and powdered sugar, and then they'll have it for breakfast as well.
Oh.
Yeah, so it's not like was a birthday cake, traditionally where you'll have it at the end of a birthday meal. This is something they'll give it to you. Like you start off with a sugar bomb.
Yeah, well, that kind of like sets up the tone for the day, which I like. Mm-hmm. Kind of shows the culture of like, you know what? Where was the other place where they kind of shove it to you right when you get out of bed?
That's right. Yeah. I mean, it's like I kind of like that. It's the idea that like you wake up, bam, your eyes are open.
Yeah, because
It is your
sometimes
birthday.
you kind of get this like feeling like, did somebody forget? You kind of, and that, adds to the birthday blues as well. Might as well just make it a thing. Even if it's a small cake, and you don't have to have like something special, It could be special just by making it special.
Absolutely.
Are you a big birthday present person?
I don't necessarily care one way or another about receiving presents, but I love giving gifts.
Yeah. Giving gifts is also quite fun to do.
It's not even about generosity for me. It's about like that the look on their face when I nail it. It's like, I know you. I've got your number. It's a form of power that I wield over others. And that's what it is.
Yeah.
It's like I'm in your head.
Yeah, but I think that's a lot of satisfaction.
It is so satisfying.
Yeah, when you feel like, I know, hands down, I got the best gift.
Yeah, it's like, or like I got something that you would have never thought of.
Yeah, and then people around you are like, that's such a good gift.
Right? And that's the best feeling in the world.
맞아요.
Better than receiving anything other than like a large sum of cash.
Yeah, you could slip that in as well. Mexico has arroz con leche.
Yeah, it's rice pudding basically. What are your thoughts on rice pudding?
Rice pudding, love it.
Me too.
Yeah, I didn't think that it was going to be good. I remember in elementary school when I first had it, fell in love with it right away.
Yeah. And I feel like a lot of people who come from countries where they eat rice as a staple, it's really hard for them to wrap their heads around it because like rice is not a sweet thing. But then you realize like we eat so many rice-based desserts in Korea.
Right.
Like, why not eat something warm and creamy?
And
as
we
well?
have shike too.
Yeah, exactly. It's creamy shike.
There you go.
And then finally, in Argentina, I saved the best for last, sándwiches de miga. It's a beef, egg, cheese, tomato, green pepper, tuna, lettuce, butter sandwich on this like thin, crustless bread. I love this idea that a birthday sandwich sounds amazing to me.
Yeah, but you have meats and then you have tuna.
Yeah, so it's surf and turf.
Oh, there you go. They done it well. Argentina with the win. Well, in any case, thank you so much, 덕분에. I'm sure everybody will have an idea how to celebrate their birthday or, their loved ones around them. I mean, you got to have some sort of inspiration. Princess cake, sandwiches. I mean, the ideas are endless.
That they are.
Yeah, well, in any case, thank you once again. We'll have to leave you guys with a fun song here, Mary Mary with The Real Party. And Chef Matt, we'll see you again next week.
See you then.
내일 봬요.